The United States is signaling that India's long-standing ties with Russia are no longer just a matter of diplomacy, but a test of loyalty. A quiet line has been drawn, and the pressure is unmistakable. Senior U.S. officials, including the Secretary of the Treasury, say they will monitor whether India resumes importing Russian oil, directly or indirectly. A move that signals scrutiny, leverage, and a willingness to escalate. For India, the message is clear. Choose the future Washington is offering or risk consequences for holding on to an old ally. What was once strategic autonomy now faces outside force, and the question is no longer if pressure will mount, but how far the United States is willing to go to bend India's hand. The United States has officially listed an additional 25% duty on Indian goods, effective February 7th, ending months of trade pressure that threatened billions in exports. The move follows a sweeping executive order signed by President Donald Trump late Friday. But this was not a routine tariff rollback. The White House made clear the relief came with conditions and consequences. At the heart of the decision, India's energy ties with Russia. According to the U.S.'s executive order, India has committed to stop directly or indirectly importing Russian oil. That pledge was central to Washington's decision to eliminate the additional duties imposed last year under emergency powers. In August 2025, the U.S. had slapped India with a double blow, reciprocal tariffs and an extra 25% levy, citing India's continued purchase of Russian crude amid the Ukraine war. The move was framed as a national security response. Now, President Trump says India has taken significant steps to address what the U.S. calls an ongoing national emergency linked to Russia's actions. Those steps include shifting energy purchases towards American suppliers. The agreement goes further. The U.S.'s executive order confirms India has also committed to a framework to expand U.S.-India defense cooperation over the next 10 years, signaling a deeper strategic alignment beyond trade. The rollback takes effect at 12:01 a.m. Eastern Time on February 7th. From that moment, Indian goods entering U.S. ports will no longer face the additional 25% ad valorem duty imposed under Executive Order 14329. But the relief comes with a clear warning. The White House says the tariffs can be reimposed if India resumes directly or indirectly importing Russian oil. Monitoring responsibility now falls to the Secretary of Commerce in coordination with State and Treasury. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has been authorized to use all available powers under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act to enforce the order, including regulatory and punitive measures if violations are detected. On the other hand, New Delhi has not yet officially confirmed any plans to reduce or stop import of Russian oil. Earlier this week, the Ministry of External Affairs said India has a strategy to diversify energy purchases to meet the needs of 1.4 billion people.
India's energy security or energy sourcing is concerned. The government has stated publicly on several occasions, including me here, that ensuring the energy security of 1.4 billion Indians is the supreme priority of the government. Diversifying our energy sourcing in keeping with objective market conditions and evolving international dynamics is at the core of our strategy to ensure this. All of India's decisions are taken and will be taken with this in mind. As far as Venezuela is concerned, it has been a long-standing partner for us in the area of energy, both on the trade side and as also on the investment side. We were importing energy or crude oil from Venezuela till 2019-20, and thereafter we had to stop. Again, we started buying oil from Venezuela in 2023-2024, but had to stop, which were halted because of reimposition of sanctions. As you are aware that Indian PSUs, they have established partnership with the National Oil Company of Venezuela, PDVSA, and they have our PSUs have maintained presence in the country since 2010. 8. Consistent with our approach to energy security, India remains open to exploring the commercial merits of any crude supply options, including from Venezuela. There's a history of engagement with Venezuela. We have long-standing energy partnership with them, and we remain open to exploring options of availability of crude oil from Venezuela and other places, depending on its commercial viability. Prime Minister had a telecon with President Trump on Monday. Post that call and post the tweet by President Trump, Prime Minister thanked President Trump for the reduction in reciprocal tariff. Prime Minister noted that Made in India products will now be exported to the United States at a reduced tariff of 18%. This trade agreement, as we see it, will give a major boost to our exports to the United States. It will be a major boost to the labor-intensive industries here in India, create new job opportunities, growth and prosperity for our people. Also, let me say that the US side has also clarified that the final figure of tariff is 18%. Congressmen who were here, they were Representative Mike Rogers, he's a Republican from Alabama, Representative Adam Smith, he's a Democrat from Washington, and Representative Jimmy Patronis, he's a Republican from Florida. It was a bipartisan delegation that we had here. They were also accompanied by senior staff members. They had a meeting, they called on the External Affairs Minister. They also had a meeting with Defense Secretary. Discussion centered around bilateral ties, bilateral cooperation, matters of trade, Ukraine issue, what we are doing together in the Indo-Pacific. They also had a meeting with industry leaders, in particular in the defense sector. So overall, it was a good meeting. And the fact that it was a bilateral, bipartisan congressional delegation from the US reflects that there is strong bipartisan support for India-US relations. We had over 50 countries who participated. If I remember correctly, 54 plus European Union, 54 countries plus European Union participated in the meeting. External Affairs Minister was there. He, after he made his remarks, and in his remarks he highlighted the challenges of excessive concentration and the importance of de-risking supply. He also talked about structured international cooperation. He also highlighted India's efforts towards greater resilience through national critical mineral mission that we have, a rare earth corridor and responsible commerce, and he conveyed support for the FORGE initiative that has been set in motion post this critical minerals partnership. Reza, in regard to your question, I don't have any further details, but I can tell you that India is supportive of FORGE initiative, which in a sense replaces critical mineral initiatives that was there earlier in place. India-EU FTA, there are internal, as you know, last week we had the signing of this historic landmark trade deal. Now the trade deal, the trade agreement, they have to undergo internal processes in both sides, in the European Union and also here in India. But let me tell you, both sides remain politically committed to implement the agreement as soon as possible.